American economy. And immigrants provide much of the low-skilled labor for industries such as agriculture and leisure and hospitality sectors, and a lot of them are illegal. But without the immigrant labor, prices consumers pay for hotels, restaurants, etc. would be substantially higher. And if we shut all immigrants out, then we are not taking in the ones who have the ability to maybe change our country in a positive way.
Here's the problem though. You're saying not only look at the negative but also the positive. What do we get from the positive sides? We might get a slightly better economy. We might learn some good cultural traditions.
Isn't that what we're for?
That's good and all.
Isn't that what America stands for? Economy?
What about the negative? Worst case scenario. Someone is murdered, someone is raped, maybe if it's a terrorist among them,
Mr. Cruz,
people will die.
You're for gun control or for the release
Yes,
of,
sir, I believe
of,
the Second Amendment.
of gun control laws, yeah. Well, about 100 people have lost their lives in mass shootings on schools, high schools, colleges the last couple of years. What and why? Because normal people, students, high school students, own guns, weapons that can kill people,
Mr. Sanders.
innocent people. Trump, you spoke about protecting your family, my family, against these immigrants. Well, the people that are actually killing our people are Americans themselves. Americans
Mr.
that own
Sanders, may I
guns.
stop you right there? We need weapons to protect ourselves. Exactly from this. If someone comes and will try to rob you or anything, you have that gun to protect you. It's not a toy. It's not something you will go out and shoot with.
Well, it is. School students are coming to school with guns in their bags and killing and murdering dozens of people.
Here's the thing though, school shootings, that's one problem, and we need to handle that. But the majority of gun owners in America have those guns and use those guns for their own protection. Many Americans have been saved because of that we have allowed guns. in private homes.
Mr. Cruz,
Whoa, let me, don't interrupt me now, alright? Let's say that there's a Mexican who's raping a woman, alright? And is about to kill her. Would you rather then shoot that person and save the innocent woman? Is it not better to take or wound the life of a
That's a
guilty
bad example.
who's gone after
That's a
innocents?
bad example, Cruz.
No, because without
Cruz,
those guns,
Cruz, last week, I read an article about a son and a mother that were on the way to the shooting range to fire their weapon, and on the way to this shooting range, her son or the son shot her mother while driving the car with a gun. A 4-year-old shot her mother while sitting in a car.
Okay, Mr.
And
Sanders.
How can you justify this?
And Mr. Cruz, what you're saying is, it is okay to take the life of a person who is trying to harm you.
here's
It
the thing.
is not okay to take a life. Never. It never is. We have to stop the rapists, but the rapists are not only immigrants. They aren't. It's a fact.
Is it never justifiable? What? Oh, let me talk here. Is it never justifiable to take a life?
No?
If we had captured Osama bin Laden, would you not have given the order to kill him? The man that has caught or that has brought the death of 2,000 Americans. I am personally for the death penalty because there are certain crimes that simply aren't forgivable. Murder, extreme rape. I mean, these are serious crimes who ruin lives. And you can't justify that. Death penalty is justifiable in extreme cases. And we are talking about extreme cases.
Okay, so what you are saying is that we need more weapons and get rid of those rape pits.
Well, personally, I mean that we might not need more, but we need our weapons. And we're not going to allow Obama or any one of you to take our guns away from us, because that is our right as American citizens according to the Second Amendment.
It shouldn't be your right to carry a gun to your local daily store.
Well,
it shouldn't be.
that's what you talk about the American dream. When our founding fathers created the American dream, they also wrote the second constitution, which says American citizens are allowed to protect themselves with guns.
The second constitution was written for 100 years ago, 150 years ago. Or 150 years ago, people were at war almost all the time. It was a complete different society.
Mrs. Sanders, why did we have these guns? It wasn't to protect ourselves at war. It was to protect ourselves from immigrants. No, not immigrants, I mean criminals. And we still have criminals, so we still need guns. I mean, you hear these stories about people who are getting killed by these guns, innocent people. Of course, because newspapers want to focus on that. But you never hear the stories of people who are protecting themselves in cases where they are being robbed, being raped, or any instance of criminality.
That is very true. The
But-
media is not neutral here.
If a rapist is attacking,
Mr. Cruz,
Well, let him speak,
Mr. Cruz,
Sanders. Let him speak.
that's the media isn't neutral in this case, because there's far more people that are being killed by Americans, that are real Americans, white Americans, Caucasian Americans,
True.
with their guns, with their automatic shotguns, with their automatic rifles, that these illegal immigrants, these rapists, these criminals, all these drug dealers.
True, but here is the thing. Immigrants are a minority. Obviously, if you have a group of 200 million and a group of 50 million, then the 200 million is going to kill more than the 50 million.
Yeah, but
That's statistics. But if you look at per person, let's take another country as an example. Let's take Denmark. All right? If you compare the Danish people, the native Danish, and the Somalian immigrants, all right? A Somalian immigrant is 10 times more likely to rape someone in Denmark than a Danish native.
don't you
Cruz,
think
Cruz.
this is generalizing?
you're comparing two complete different social societies with comparing the United States to Denmark.
No, Mrs. Sanders, we have the same people coming in to the USA as we have
Still,
people
We
coming
have
Let me
Somalian
pro-
immigrants.
Look at one perfect example here. President Obama. It isn't a secret that he or his parents or his ancestors are immigrants. And I believe that President Obama is a good human being. And it may be that some of his ancestors were illegal immigrants. And look what that brought us. President Obama is one of the best presidents we've ever had.
Ms. Clinton.
Now
He-
that has not.
he
that
received-
is not
he received-
justifiable.
He
all
re-
right. There are many
he
people.
received the Nobel Peace Prize in
We will
2008.
always have some cases of good immigrants. Even though they were illegal, we have good immigrants as well.
Yeah, and-
but I'm
and-
saying those are
But
rare
give it-
cases.
Mr.
They
Trump,
aren't rare.
give these people a chance to pursue the American dream. Give them a shot.
Do you know who gave those people
Don't
a chance?
don't
Paris.
generalize.
And
Don't
95
generalize.
people
Don't
died
generalize.
in a terrorist attack because they allowed them into their country. You know, along with these refugees, along with these good immigrants, came ISIS soldiers, right? Soldiers who their mission is to make the world a worse place. They want to build the Islamic Caliphate, but they do that by killing, by raping. And if we allow those people into America, imagine the possible consequences. We have to imagine the worst. Because if we don't, and then the worst happens, then who are to blame but us? We need to
What
step
about-
our foot down.
What about investigating these immigrants a little more and more
Sir, then,
before they come in.
That's
then they would
easier
have
said than done.
legal immigrants.
No,
Legal immigrants are, we can investigate them, of course, and they will come legally. But illegal immigrants, we have no control of who's coming in.
And you know, it's a simple moral, all right? Just because we're not allowing immigrants into our country doesn't mean that we don't like them, all right? But if we choose to not,
that's
No,
what you-
alright,
that's what you're saying.
let
Mr.
me
Cruz.
give you this example, all right? If we shut the door from someone, all right? That's not necessarily saying that we don't want you, but we're saying that we don't want to risk bringing you and some bad people into our home. And that's the same. That's the same principle, all right? We would rather protect our own than others when they may be a potential threat. That is a simple state of fact, and that's how aggressive and how determined that we have to be.
But except the Native Americans, isn't America a country of immigrants?
True, they are based on immigrants.
It's a nation of immigrants. America is immigrants.
But they are not a nation of illegal.
You're an immigrant. I'm an immigrant. Hillary's an immigrant.
But we are not.
Trump's.
We are not illegal immigrants.
But we're immigrants.
And we are saying that we don't want
We
the
all-
illegal immigrants
Well,
here.
well, well,
We all came here
Legal.
illegally
Yeah.
at once in life.
When the
Our
first
ancestors.
American came here, or the first immigrant came here, he came illegally. There were no one here to investigate and see if he was
We
legal.
mur-
He came here.
we murdered
illegally.
Mr. Mr. Sanders, if you're looking at the
Trump.
facts, we are immigrants to Earth. That doesn't change anything.
Our ancestors killed thousands of Native Americans, and I don't think that the Mexicans have killed thousands of us Americans so far in American history.
They have. We have criminality where Mexicans are killing Americans.
Don't
Alright, here's the
don't
thing
you-
though. Alright. A lot of immigrants came to America. True. This is hundreds of years ago. Alright? The world is not the same place. Back in 1780 during the Revolutionary War, we didn't have a massive problem with terrorism. We didn't have a massive problem with illegal immigration in the forms of Mexicans. Alright? We can't simply say, well, we did it 250 years ago, why don't we just do it again? Because the world is not the same place, and we have learned from our mistakes. This time we must be smarter. We must put down our foot and we must say, this is our country. You are welcome, but you can't come in here by breaking our laws. You can't risk the security of our own citizens. Alright? That's something that we have to do. Our number one priority has to be to protect the American citizens. And we need to set an example that we will not tolerate this.
How can you justify ruining lives of small children?
Here's the thing though. First of all, it's
No,
not
no.
necessarily our responsibility, alright?
It is.
We are the
That's the
most
point.
powerful country in the world. We
True.
have the responsibility of not only us,
To
but
live in the
also-
greatest country that's probably ever existed, the biggest empire.
Here's the thing though. Most of these immigrants who come to America, they don't have to come here. They have made that choice. Yeah, sure, life might be a bit harder in Mexico or in Middle East, but unless you're refugees from war or similar, you are not forced to come here. We don't have a forced responsibility because they come here by choice. They say, we want to come to America. America's a great country. We want to exploit that country. And then that is justifiable because they don't have to. They are choosing to. And if they're saying, oh, you know what? We're going to come to your country and we're going to exploit your country.